What's up, everybody? Bacon Buster here, and I am return. So, for all of you that haven't been living under a rock for the past week, you may know that E3 happened last week. You know, Electronic Entertainment Expo, basically the biggest gaming event of the year, and it did not disappoint. Wait, I don't know much about all the E3 presentations, but we got a lot of information. We got information on the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, which everyone's excited for. Or from what I hear, Sony, not PlayStation, did a very good job on theirs. But what I want to talk about today is Ubisoft's presentations, particularly one game, For Honor. If you remember, like many moons back, I did a video on Chivalry where I talked about For Honor and how I had recently found out about it, even though it had been around for around a year. But here at E3, we got some new information on it. We got new gameplay footage, we actually got a story-based cutscene, and we now know more information about the game, more classes and such. And the classes are what I want to talk about today. So, obviously, there can be a lot of speculation and prediction on the classes, and we know set in stone what at least 4 of the classes will be in terms of names and weaponry. But we still know plenty of other classes based on appearance. Let us start by diving in to predict and analyze what we think the classes of the final game will end up being. So, going by the assumption that each of the 3 factions will get 4 classes, leading to a total of 12 different classes, we can assume that the Knight faction will obviously have 4. In gameplay, and at least in terms of name, we have only seen one. The Warden. And, you know, guy with the 2-handed longsword. But, however, in cutscene, we have seen in both cutscene and gameplay, we have seen another class. Yes, one that we do not know the name of, but we know the weapon. He has a flail and a heater shield. And we see him in the first cinematic trailer fighting a Viking, and we see him for just a couple seconds in a gameplay clip. So that's only 2 out of the 4 classes. Not a lot of information, right? Well, actually, if you look in the recent gameplay trailer, you actually do see a knight using a 2-handed axe. This knight with a poleaxe is strikingly similar to a Viking class that we'll see later, but at least we do know what the 3rd class will be using. As for the 4th class, I have no idea. Unlike all the other factions where I can know or can at least have a good guess on what weapons they'll be using for all classes, I know nothing about the knight's 4th class. I mean, we already have longsword, we have flail and shield, we have poleaxe. Frankly, I'm not sure what else they could do. We already have a spear class, as I will mention later, and a sword and shield class, which is sort of be I don't know, unoriginal, repetitive. We already have a couple of those. If I had to make my best educated prediction, it would either be a sort of fencing class with a sword and maybe a parrying dagger. This is incredibly unlikely, as those kinds of people were seen in duels, but not on the battlefield. Or a class that uses a lance, like a pike, a massive 2-handed spear. Here. That is only a guess, though. But as of now, we know 3 of the Knights classes in terms of appearance, 1 of their names. So with that said, let's dive into the second alliance, the Samurai. Now, unlike everyone else, we know not only most of the classes, but also 2 of their names. There was the originally an unveiled class, the Oni, the quick katana-wielding samurai guy, and then we also have the Kensei, which is basically an Oni, but bigger, bulkier, with a longer sword, Nodachi. So we know 2 of the classes by name. Or at least, do we? No, actually, we know a 3rd class as well. The Shugoki. We see the Shugoki in the gameplay a walkthrough in the Viking mission in using a kanabo. You know, that club thing that they use in Fire Emblem Fates. So we know 3 out of the 4 classes by name, and I predict that the 4th class will be a Naginata wielding class. Partially because, obviously, it's one of the most iconic weapons of the Japanese samurai people, and partially because in the, animated trailer, we did see a samurai chick wielding a Naginata to fight a Viking. So we know all 4, assuming there's 4 of the samurai classes by weapon, and most of them by name. The Viking is a little bit different. Let's check into those guys. The Vikings, we know one of the classes by name, the Raider. Oddly enough, the Raider was originally a sword and shield class, but they seem to have changed its name and given the name Raider to the big two-handed axe guy, as we see in the gameplay video. The sword and shield guy is still there if you look while they're about to storm the bridge, and we also see a new class, as we see a lady using a spear and a small shield. I believe we actually do know the 4th class. A knight, a Viking that uses 2 axes, one in each hand, and we see this Viking not only in the official art, or at least what used to be the official art on the website page, but also in the cinematic trailer originally, where it is shown fighting the group of knights on that cliffside. So for the Vikings, we know one of their names, but each of the class's weapons. So let's recap. For knights, we have the Warden with the two-handed longsword, 2 unnamed classes, one with a flail and heater shield, and the other with a poleaxe, and we have 1 completely unknown class. For the samurai, we know the Oni with its katana, we know the Kensei with its Nodachi, we know the Shugoki with the Kanabo, and we have an unnamed class that uses a Naginata. And for the Vikings, we have the Raider with the Great Dane axe, we have what I'm going to call the X-Raider, with the sword and round shield. We know of the spear and shield wielding unnamed Viking, as well as the dual axe wielding unnamed Viking. I don't know if there'll be any classes after that other than the 4th knight class. If they do add more classes, it'd be interesting to see what they do with them, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to stick with 4 per faction. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I was very excited for E3 because I missed a lot of it, and simply just watching a bunch of it at once was just an overload of information for me. But I feel like For Honor, for me, is going to be the new Chivalry. Like, semi-authentic sword-fighting combat. Granted, Chivalry was not all that realistic. It was mostly comprised of oh my gosh, reverse overheads, 360 spins, haha, 2 OP, oh crap, an archer. Yeah, that was basically Chivalry in a nutshell. But so I'm excited for For Honor, I'm excited for Breath of the Wild, I'm excited for Sun and Moon, I'm excited for a lot of games. Anyways, tell me what you thought of E3 in the comments, and you could check out the trailer the trailers I saw. One of them by Game News Official, which I use not only because it doesn't have a mature filter on it, but because it also has captions. And you could check out the original trailer seen at E3 like last year. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bacon Buster, out.